Namaskar and welcome to Indian Diplomacy, show on Doordarshan, India's national broadcaster, about Indian foreign policy, India's international relations, and India's involvement in improving the state of global institutions and making the world a better place. Viewers, in this special episode that we are broadcasting from the venue of the 18th G20 Summit in New Delhi, we are taking up the issue of the G20 as a whole, all things G20, the relevance of the G20, the contemporary challenges that the G20 as an institution faces, and the future of this institution, whether it is going to be able to solve the global problems and live up to people's expectations. All eyes are on India's G20, and we want to be taking you through this journey. And to discuss this, let me introduce you to two very special guests who are joining us here at the G20 venue, esteemed scholars and thinkers who are from the University of Toronto in Canada. Professor John Kirton, who's a noted expert on multilateral institutions, and with him, Ms. Madeline Koch. Professor Kirton is the director of the G20 Research Group at the University of Toronto, and Madeline Koch is the executive director of the same institution. Madeline and John, welcome to Indian Diplomacy.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here.
Great to be with you.
Let me begin with Professor John Kirton. John, so many summits have happened. India is hosting the 18th summit, and many more are to come. The question on the minds of average people in India around the world is, does the G20 do what it's supposed to do? Does it deliver on people's expectations? What is the relevance of the G20? What is the importance of the G20? This, needs some deeper understanding. So I'd request you to begin with why we needed the G20, how it came about, and is it really living up to the expectations?
Well, every international institution is created to undertake a distinctive mission that no other international institution does. And when the G7 was created at the level of finance ministers and central bankers in 1999, it told the world what its mission was. One was to promote financial stability, because the Asian turned global financial crisis had just ravaged developing countries and infected the rich ones. But the second was to make globalization work for the benefit of all, not just the 1% at the top, but at the 1% at the bottom. And that's why the club was created, with an equal number of countries from the relatively rich north, including Japan and Australia, Korea, but the emerging and developing countries from the global south. So you had a real balance, and everybody suffered when there was global financial crises.
Yeah.
That was a public good, but it was the developing countries that most emphasized from the start that second mission of making globalization work for the benefit of all. So when we come forward to the 18th summit, when Mr. Modi, Prime Minister Modi of India, the host from the start, has said, this summit, my summit, has got to work for the global south.
Yeah.
Development is job number one. He's fulfilling a mission there at the start, but it's still a work in progress,
Still a work in progress.
as everyone knows.
Still a work in progress, viewers. That's what Professor John Curtin says about the G20. Let me now bring in Madeline Koch as well. Madeline, every G20 summit, there are commitments made by member countries on a whole range of issues. And I want to highlight for the audience a background book prepared by Madeline and John's team about the Indian G20 presidency as well. And this is worth reading, viewers. But let me bring you back to the question of commitment. This book also talks about the issue. I'd like you to speak about, Madeline, what does it take for the G20 to convert or to walk the talk? Because there are the communiques that come out of G20 are so long and so extensive, running into dozens of pages,